Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel, and today we are checking out Double Indemnity. I have no idea what this movie is about. I'm assuming it's about some form of murder because when I was on Amazon Prime buying this movie, or renting this movie I should say, the like thumbnail I guess started to change and then a big murder flashed across the screen. So I'm assuming that this movie has something to do with murder. It's directed by Billy Wilder, the same guy who made Sunset Boulevard, and I absolutely love that movie. You can check out my reaction on the channel to Sunset Boulevard if you haven't already and if you're interested. But I'm really interested in this one. I thought that Billy Wilder did an exceptional job directing Sunset Boulevard, and I'm really excited to see what he can do with Double Indemnity. And before we get into this reaction, let me do the lighting. So let me turn on the light and we can decide what color it should be. Boop. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so I think this movie is going to be black and white, so I think the lighting is just going to be black and white, like for the actual video itself. But for me, watching this movie, I'm gonna go red because I think this is a murder movie, and I think red is the perfect tone for this movie. And if you'd like to check out more of my reactions, you can head over to my Patreon. I have uncut reactions to many of the movies I watch on YouTube, as well as early access reactions to my movies that come out 1 week early. There are also 2 exclusive Patreon movies a month that you guys on Patreon get to choose, so thank you so much if you check it out. Now let's get back to the video. Okay, I don't know what to expect, but I am very curious and also very excited. So I hope you enjoy my reaction to Double Indemnity. Double Indemnity. You know, I've never even heard of the word indemnity before. I have no idea what that means. I'll be just blatantly obvious with you there. I don't like that that man walked slowly towards the screen and we slowly got enveloped in his shadow. What's up, bud? Why were you driving so fast? Are you going to murder someone?
Working pretty late, aren't you, Mr. Neff?
Late enough. Let's ride.
Okay, so he must live here then. I love that we're not seeing his face. This is so cool. Oh wow, what the heck, that is a cool shot. How do you light a match with your thumb? That is crazy to me.
Suppose you'll call this a confession when you hear it. Well, I don't like the word confession.
For what?
But let's take a look at that Dietrichson claim. Accident and double indemnity.
I don't know what that means. Please explain.
Except it wasn't, because you made one mistake. Just one little mistake. When it came to picking the killer, you picked the wrong guy.
Oh!
Hold tight to that cheap cigar of yours, Keys. I killed Dietrichson.
Ooh! What?
And I didn't get the money, and I didn't get the woman.
It's a lose-lose situation there. We're gonna go back in time and see how he ends up like this now.
Nuts about 10 or 15 years ago. This one must have cost somebody about 30,000 bucks.
Oh, that's quite a bit.
And it's not magazine subscriptions.
Listen, Mr. Dietrichson is not in.
How soon do you expect him?
He'll be home when he gets here, if that's any help to you.
What is it, Nettie?
That is literally no help.
Fender or something while you're not fully covered.
Perhaps I know what you mean, Mr. Neff.
Fully covered.
Oh, that's all right. If you wait till I put something on, I'll be right down. Nettie, show Mr. Neff into the living room.
Is she gonna be the lady that he likes, or is she just rando?
I wasn't long, was I?
Not at all, Mrs. Dietrichson.
Hope I've got my face on straight.
Perfect.
It's a little bit left, I should say.
Well, it's on your 2 cars, the LaSalle and the Plymouth. We've been handling this insurance for Mr. Dietrichson for 3 years, and we'd hate to see the policies lapse.
Just sit on the couch normally. Don't sit on the armrest.
They have a better rate?
If your husband's a member.
No, he isn't.
Well, then he'd have to join the club and pay the membership fee to start with. I never knocked the other
That's too much. That's too much. Just join this other guy.
in front of your husband. For instance, for writing a new kind of 50%.
What's up with her? Why is she so fidgety? The husband die?
Fire, earthquake, theft, public liability, group insurance, industrial stuff, and so on right down the line.
Accident insurance?
Accident?
Oh, because the husband's dead. Accident.
Speed limit in this state, Mr. Neff. 45 miles an hour.
How fast was I going, officer?
I'd say around 90.
Ooh, I like the lighting on her face.
Smell of honeysuckle all along that street. How could I have known that murder can sometimes smell like honeysuckle?
She did murder her husband. Accident insurance? Come on, man.
But I didn't. I felt like a million.
Unless she didn't, and I just want her to have.
Some of them are phonies, and I know which ones. How do I know? Because my little man tells me.
Little man?
And they jacked up that burned-out truck of yours, and what did they find? They found what was left of a neat pile of shavings.
Oh!
The poor guy. Maybe I made a mistake.
Well, that's one way of putting it.
This guy has good intuition then as an insurance man.
Now pull it toward you.
Well, he's so happy.
Thank you, Mr. Keir.
Thank you for teaching me how to open a door.
Pick up after a gang of fast-talking salesmen dumb enough to sell life insurance to a guy who sleeps in the same bed with 4 rattlesnakes.
Rattlesnakes.
You're so darn conscientious, you're driving yourself crazy. You wouldn't even say today's Tuesday unless you looked at the calendar. Then you check to see if it was this. But I kept thinking about Phyllis Dietrichson. And the way that anklet of hers cut into her leg.
Man has a foot fetish. Oh! That was a really cool shot because it looked like he was remembering the events from last night because it was the same shot, but now different outfit and you realize it's actually the future. That was really cool.
I'm working on my stamp collection anyway.
I was just fixing some iced tea. Would you like a glass?
Yeah, unless you got a bottle of beer that's not working.
I'll have some iced tea. Actually, I would love some. It's so hot in my room right now.
Nettie! Nettie! Oh, I forgot. Today's the maid's day off.
Never mind the beer.
Oh, I forgot. Lady, it's 8:30. It's 8:30. How could you forget?
He's in the hospital with a broken back.
Oh, it's bad.
It's got me jittery just thinking about it. Suppose something like that happened to my husband.
Something I bet has. I bet you killed him.
Maybe I shouldn't have said that.
I suppose you have to think of everything in your business.
Well, your husband would understand. I'm sure I could sell him on.
I don't think he would. I think he's dead already.
Sometimes we sit here all evening and never say a word to each other.
Sounds pretty dull.
So,
Sounds like he's either dead or you want to kill him.
could I get an accident policy for him without bothering him at all?
Ah!
How's that
It
again?
would make it easier for you, too. You wouldn't even have to talk. I have a little allowance of my own.
So sus, lady. That is so suspicious.
All the worry would be over. See what I mean, Walter?
Sure, I got good eyesight.
I got good eyesight.
You crazy?
Not that crazy. Goodbye, Mr. Dietrichson.
What's the matter?
Yes. He's on to you, lady.
So long as I'm not your husband.
Get out of here.
You bet I'll get out of here, baby. I'll get out of here, but quick.
Oh, yeah, she definitely got caught there. That was the most suspicious thing a person has ever done in their entire life.
I didn't want to go back to the office, so I dropped by a bowling alley at 3rd and Western and rolled a few lines.
That's so strange. I've never seen someone just go to a bowling alley by themselves.
As if it was the most natural thing in the world.
Ayo, ayo.
How'd you know where I live?
It's in the phone book. It's raining.
Yeah.
So what? Give me my hat and leave.
What do you want me to do?
I want you to be nice to me. Like the first time.
How about no?
Sure, right now.
She's like, you're supposed to say no. You're supposed to say, I want you to stay. Oh, Zooey Mama.
Get a couple of glasses, will you?
I love just the sound of the rain in the background. It's just like almost like a staticky sound. It's so good.
All she collected was a 3 to 10 stretch into Tehachapi.
Perhaps it was worth it to her.
Dude, those close-ups of her while he was talking, oh man, they're a little creepy.
What he had when you married him?
Yes, he had. And I wanted a home.
You married for money.
I pitied him so.
And now you hate him.
Yes, Walter. He's so mean to me.
So it was a pity money marry.
Snore and get ideas.
Walter, I don't want to kill him. I never did. Not even when he gets drunk and slaps my face.
Oh, what the heck, man?
In 3 minutes, he'd know it wasn't an accident. In 10 minutes, you'd be sitting under the hot lights. In a half hour, you'd be signing your name to a confession.
Oh, Walter, I didn't do it. And
Walter actually said that so coolly.
They'll hang you just as sure as 10 dimes will buy $1. And I don't want you to hang, baby.
So he's gonna murder the husband for her, but he's not gonna, well, I guess he's gonna get away with it, but then he's gonna confess at the end.
He was married to a woman he didn't care anything about. And I did.
And you had just met this woman, and now you're planning on murdering this man for this woman who you met like 3 days ago.
They're not going to hang you, baby.
It's better than going on this way.
They're not going to hang you because you're going to do it and I'm going to help you.
Ah, why would you say this?
There's not going to be any slip-up. Nothing sloppy, nothing weak. It's got to be perfect.
This is so interesting, this movie though. We're watching the murderers plan their murder. It would be hilarious if she was
Not
just
from your
using
house,
him,
from a
though.
booth. And watch your step.
Like if she doesn't actually love him, she's just pretending to get her husband dead and to escape.
That was it, Keys. The machinery had started to move and nothing could stop it.
Yeah, it was like this idea that just kept growing and you couldn't quench it.
Have her sitting right there in the room playing Chinese checkers. Nothing was
Yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah, like having the daughter in the room when you're planning on killing the husband.
Got something better to do?
Yes, I have. Father, is it all right if I run along now?
No, you need the witness.
Palo Alto.
He was a Stanford man, Mr. Neff, and he still goes to his class reunion every year.
What's wrong with that?
He has a class reunion every year.
Where do I sign?
The bottom line.
Ah, I should have read the contract. This is why you always read the contract.
A thing called double indemnity. The insurance companies put in a sort of a come-up for the customers. That means they pay double on certain accidents.
Oh.
They pay $100,000 instead of $50,000.
Oh, that's what. Oh, that's so cool. I didn't know that.
Be the train, Walter, just the way you want it. Straight down the line.
What? She didn't move her mouth there for that line of dialogue. That was so. What the heck? She literally just wasn't. She didn't say anything, yet there was a voice.
Well, I thought you could let me ride with you if you're going my way.
That is so weird. And you got in his car? That is so weird.
I'm having a very tough time at home. My father doesn't understand me, and Phyllis hates me.
Yeah.
So?
Both are true.
It'll all straighten out, Miss Dietrichson.
I suppose it will sometime. Well, this is the corner right here, Mr. Neff.
Throw her out of the car.
This is Mr. Neff, Nino.
Hello, Nino.
The name is Zacchetti.
Nino, please. Mr. Neff gave me...
Don't be hard-headed.
Well, he's a friend.
I don't have any friends. If I did, I like to pick them myself. Come on.
Look, Sonny,
I don't think you should be proud for not having any friends there, Nino.
we couldn't let anybody see us together. We couldn't even talk to each other on the telephone. Not from her house.
I like this. I like how planned out this is going to be. And we know it works too because he's confessing right now.
Remember, you never saw it. You never even touched it. You understand?
I'm not a fool.
Okay.
Well,
When is he leaving on the...
maybe you are.
Could you reach me that package of baby food? That one up there? I don't know why they always put what I want on the top shelf.
It always seems to be the case. Whatever you want is always just a little bit too high.
We've got to wait.
Maybe we have, Walter, only it's so tough without you. It's like a wall.
She's not doing very good at being stealthy. She's literally staring at him. He's like looking at the food and she's just like, Walter.
You may remember that date, Keys. You came into my office around 3 in the afternoon.
Oh, interesting.
Just a pile of papers to shuffle around and 5 sharp pencils and a scratch pad to make figures on. Maybe a little doodling on the side.
Yeah, why not?
All in one. And you want to tell me you're not interested. You don't want to work.
Well, he's got to do this murder first and then he'll take the job.
A few bucks more a week. There's a name on your phone.
A few bucks. He said $50 more, didn't he?
Wait a minute, I can't wait. Listen, he's going tonight on the train. Are you listening?
You're gonna have to roll your plan into action.
It's wonderful, Walter, just the way you wanted it on a train. Only with the crutches, it makes it much better, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, crutches, and the guy at the very start when the credits were rolling was on crutches too.
Now, that suits me fine.
This is it, Walter. I'm shaking like a leaf, but it's straight down the line for...
I'm shaking like a leaf.
Long time ago.
Now, look, Keys, I've got a call on a prospect.
Even now the church picked out, the dame and I. She had a white satin.
He's just odd. He's just going on.
Guess I was wrong.
Oh.
You're not smarter, Walter. You're just a little taller.
Oh, get wrecked, Walter. Get absolutely destroyed, son.
Now they had thrown the switch. The gears had meshed. The time for thinking had all run out.
Yeah, are you ready?
Pocket so I could fake something that looked like a cast on a broken leg. Next, I stuck a card inside the telephone.
This is so complicated.
About 10 minutes later, they came down.
All right, honey?
Yeah, I'm all right.
I'll have the car out in a second.
I'm so excited for this, guys. Why not, like, cover him fully in blankets?
Remember what
Dude, he's about to pounce.
Up again.
makes you feel pretty good to get away
Imagine
from me,
if
doesn't
Walter
it?
sneezed. That would be hilarious.
What are you doing that for? What are you honking the horn for?
He's dying. Is he dead? Is he gone? Is he busted? Is he deceased? That shot of her when she smiled and the light was on her face. Oh, that was cold. That was cold-blooded. And now Walter's gonna pretend to be him. How are they gonna do this though? Because they need the body on the train for insurance to do the double indemnity, right?
Section 11, sir. Thank you.
This is so good. This is so good. They're getting away with murder. I don't agree with murder, but it's kind of fun to see this. It's like how much planning is put into this is crazy, you know? This is like a reverse shot of the one with the credits on it. He's walking away from the camera. There's someone behind.
I used to be.
Uh-oh, I bet you left something behind. I always do.
I like this guy.
Well, it's not too much trouble. Car 9, Section 11.
Car 9, Section 11.
This guy's so nice, but this singular man may have thrown the plan askew, I guess. Okay, but how are you getting the body? How are they hiding the body? I don't remember this. They're gonna put the body on the tracks? So they're gonna be like, he got on the train and okay, and now he's like on the tracks? That would make sense. It's too suspicious, it's too easy. But actually it wasn't. They planned this for a long time. Oh no, but you didn't plan for this one, did you? Haha, losers! Oh, you're lucky. You're so lucky. You're so lucky. I bet your hearts were in the bottoms of your pinky toes. That's how low they were.
That's straight down the line, isn't it?
I don't know. I'd be like, we just murdered Savon. I'm not really in the mood to kiss anyone at the moment. I feel a little gross.
I love you, baby.
But I guess murderers, if they murder someone, they would have to be okay with murdering the person in the first place, so they probably wouldn't feel that gross about it.
The cards hadn't moved. No calls, no visitors.
That's good, that's good.
Then I changed.
Why am I rooting for him? Get out of here, Oliver. Don't root for this guy. He's a murderer.
I couldn't hear my own footsteps. It was the walk of a dead man.
Ah, that's such a good line. That is such a good line.
I took them off again so they wouldn't get to wondering why I wore them. I tried to hold myself together, but...
The guilt was crushing you.
Crutches and fell off the train. They're satisfied. It's not their dough. Come on, Walter.
It's not their dough. Yeah, and they gotta pay a lot of money.
They found Dietrichson's body on the tracks near Burbank.
Very interesting about the cigar case.
Yeah, yeah.
He signed the application and gave me his check.
A fine piece of salesmanship that was, Mr. Neff.
Well, there's no...
I like this guy.
What do you think of this case? This policy might cost us a great deal of money. As you know, it contains a double indemnity
insurance
clause.
numbers.
Just what is your
insurance
opinion?
numbers
No opinion.
always try and find the loophole to get out of it.
What do you say to that?
Me? Well, you've got the ball. Let's see you run with it.
Yeah. I want to see this guy's theory.
A visitor, if you don't mind. Oh. No, I want you to stay and watch me handle this.
Mrs. Dietrichson.
Oh my days galore.
Thank you very much for coming, Mrs. Dietrichson. I assure you I appreciate it.
It's always fishy when an accident clause has just been signed and then the person dies. You know what I mean?
Won't you sit down?
Like, at least wait, like, 2 years or something. At least wait a year or two.
Frankly, Miss Dietrichson, we suspect suicide.
Oh, that's not good. You don't want it to look like that. What? Why not just keep the glass? Why not just keep the glass? That's so strange.
Does what?
He jumps. Suicide. In which case the company is not liable. You know that...
Oh, man, I bet you guys didn't think of this at all. Looks like you didn't think of anything.
I don't like your insinuations about my husband, and I don't like your methods. In fact, I don't like you, Mr. Norton.
She's playing the widowed bride very well.
First thing that struck me was that suicide angle. Only I dumped it into the wastepaper basket just 3 seconds later.
Get wrecked.
Subdivided by types of poison, such as corrosive, irritant, systemic, gaseous, narcotic, alkaloid, protein, and so forth.
This guy knows his stuff.
And you know how fast that train was going at the point where the body was found? 15 miles an hour.
Yeah, not enough to kill someone.
You have to pay through the nose, and you know it. May I have this?
Wow, he was thirsty after that speech. This guy has some good speeches. This guy should have a big office. Because murder would count as accidental death, right? I hope it would. Because it's not like you're planning on getting murdered.
At the drugstore just a block away. Can I come up?
Okay, but be careful. Don't let anybody see you.
How long do they have to keep this act up of not knowing each other until it's okay to know each other in public? Is it ever? Is it never? What is it? Ever? Is it ever? Is it never? I'm so philosophical. Ooh, this isn't good. This isn't good. Who is this? Is it Keys? Oh my god, it's Keys, and the woman's coming up too. How is he gonna explain this?
Insurance, didn't he?
Yeah.
Then he broke his leg, didn't he?
So what?
And he didn't put in a claim. Why didn't he put...
Yeah! Why didn't he do that? Oh, I didn't even think about that. I did. Oh my god.
And he's stuck halfway.
Insurance companies really
The man
think
here
about
is acting up again.
every
There's
little
something
detail.
wrong with the Dietrichson case.
But this guy's also smart. Keys is also a genius, like a secret megamind genius.
Got to be something wrong.
Well, maybe Norton was right. Maybe it was suicide.
No, not suicide.
Murder.
Don't know how many billions.
Yeah.
And after that, the broken leg. No, it just can't be the...
I like this guy. I like this guy. Go Keys, go!
You have any peppermint or something?
Oh, sorry. Want a little soda water?
No.
No. If he sees you...
I've got to get to a drugstore. This thing feels like a hunk of concrete inside me. Good night, Walter.
Oh no. Leave, lady. Leave, lady. Oh my god. Oh my god.
All the percentage there is, and this hunk of concrete in my stomach.
Ah, no. But yes.
Good night, Keys.
So intense. This is so intense.
How much does he know?
He doesn't know anything.
He's starting to, though. He's starting to put the pieces together.
Can't prove anything, can he?
Not if we're careful. Not if we don't
And
see
he
each
had
other
it right
while.
for a second. What if he didn't know he had insurance? He had it right. He had it right. However improbable, it must be the answer. Sherlock Holmes.
What, isn't it, Walter?
What are you talking about?
And you don't really care whether we see each other or not.
Shut up, baby.
The amount of times he says baby around her, like, take a shot, you'll be dead.
Be alone.
Oh, yes. Come into my office.
What's Lola gonna say?
I'm not hysterical. I'm not even crying. But I have the awful feeling that something's wrong.
Yeah, everyone does right now.
When your mother died?
We were at Lake Arrowhead. That was 6 years ago. We had a...
It's crazy how people just have like an intuition about things, and lots of times people don't follow them, but still, there's always like that gut feeling. It's such an interesting feeling.
I could. Just then I heard the door open behind me. The nurse stood there.
The nurse was Phyllis.
My mother was dead. Do you know who that nurse was?
Do you think Phyllis killed the mom too?
6 months later, she married him, and I kind of talked myself out of the idea she could have done anything like that.
You shouldn't have. Oh, I bet she did. She's already a killer.
Of a mirror with a black hat on and pinning a black veil to it, as if she couldn't wait to see how she would look in mourning.
Wow, why would you do that, Phyllis? Are you stupid?
You don't like your stepmother, do you? Isn't it just because she is your stepmother?
I loathe her, because she did it. She did it for the money.
Lola loathes her. No, she has the right to loathe her.
Dinner at a Mexican restaurant down on Olvera Street where nobody would see us. I wanted to cheer her
Nope.
up.
There are so many people there.
About Lola. It was worse. Outside your door was the last guy in the world I wanted.
No, because he'll recognize his face. He'll recognize his face. This is not good. I told you this guy was the reason. It's like the plan going askew.
Smart, tricky, almost perfect. But I think Papa has it all figured out.
Do it. Say it. Go.
Then throw his body on the tracks. Now that would mean either killing him on the train, or...
Come on, Keys,
and
you've got
really
this.
gets fancy.
He's just gonna get the wrong murderer.
Then there's somebody else jumped off. Then they put the body on the tracks where the train had passed.
He's literally
An
got it.
impersonation.
He actually should be a detective.
Dietrichson is sitting right outside my office.
Ah,
I took the trouble to bring him down here from Oregon.
don't come in. Don't let him in. Don't let him in. Don't let him see.
Then my answer is no.
What do you mean, no?
I mean, this is not the man that was on the train.
Oh, the witness. Don't look. Don't look to the right. Don't look to the right. Don't look to the right.
Just how would you describe the man you saw on the observation platform?
Well,
Sangalis, if the case comes to court.
anytime you need me, I'm entirely at your disposal, gentlemen. Expenses paid, of course.
Oh, yes, yes.
Expenses paid, of course. Good man.
Oh, wait a minute. You go trout fishing? Maybe I saw you up Klamath Falls way.
No, I don't fish.
Why didn't we just say? Why wouldn't you just say yes? I've been there before.
It was already. Murder's never perfect. Always comes apart sooner or later. And when two people are involved, it's usually sooner.
It's true. The more people involved in the murder, the harder it is to pull off. And there's always something that goes wrong. There's always one little thing.
It's safe because there are two of them. But it isn't twice as safe. It's 10 times twice as dangerous.
10 times twice as dangerous.
Let her sue us if she dares. I'll be ready for her. And that somebody else. They'll be digging their own graves.
I love it. Keys is on it. Walter is dying.
He wants you to sue, but you're not going to.
What's he got to stop me?
He's got plenty.
Yeah. Yeah, he really has.
And then you'll end up in court, and a lot of other things are going to come up. Like, for instance, about you and the first Mrs. Dietrichson.
Ooh. He's made you feel like a heel all of a sudden?
It isn't the money anymore. It's our necks. We're pulling out, do you understand?
That's what she said.
You planned the whole thing. I only wanted him dead.
Ah, it's so
He
true.
was dead.
It's so true. Walter actually did everything.
Where the cemetery was. And then I got to thinking what cemeteries are for.
They're for dead people.
They're to put dead people in.
Yep, exactly. You're a genius. The music is really good right now.
It's about Nino.
So, Kitty, what about him?
They killed my father together. He and Phyllis. He helped her do it.
Oh, Walter, you could escape. You could escape.
He was supposed to pick me up after a lecture at UCLA. But he never showed up.
Dude,
He said he was sick.
Dude, what if he doesn't have an alibi? What if he doesn't have an alibi? Oh, this guy's gonna get framed for no reason.
Phyllis and Kitty. What was he doing up at her house?
I would like to know, actually. I would love to know.
How do you mean?
Well, the guy showed, that's how.
The guy showed?
What guy?
The guy who helped her do it.
Oh.
15 p.m. on. In addition to this, I have known Neff intimately for 11 years, and I personally vouch for him without...
Oh, no, Walter. You suck, man.
...to justify police action. I strongly urge that this whole matter be turned over to the office of the district attorney.
Oh, you can see Walter dying inside. Like, slowly crumbling, you know?
Yeah, that's what I thought. What I didn't know was that she had plans of her own.
Oh, what are her plans? Look at these lighting. Look at this lighting now. Like the Venetian lines. Just the only light. Oh, it's so good. Ooh, a gun. A gun. That's fun. That's being shot. You know the rule of cinema. If you see a gun, it's going to be shot.
Just like the first time I came here, isn't it? We were talking about automobile insurance.
Ah, man, the lighting is making me stressed out. And also that there's a gun under her butt.
Maybe he's got something there.
You bet he has. Two people are going to ride at the end of the line, all right.
But it's not going to be me and you.
Maybe I'd rather talk.
Sometimes people are where they can't talk. Under 6 feet of dirt, maybe.
Oh. Oh.
For once I believe you, because it's just rotten enough.
We're both rotten.
Only you're a little more rotten.
Oh, burn.
Is what you've got cooked up for tonight any better?
I don't like that music anymore. Mind if I close the window?
No, no, no. Don't turn it off, please. Don't turn it off, please, because it's going to be so quiet and stressful. Did you get shot?
Better try it again. Maybe if I came a little closer.
And that's why he is so sweaty and stuff.
No, I never loved you, Walter, not you or anybody else.
Yes.
I'm rotten to the heart. I used you just as you said.
Well, I said that she was going to use him.
Goodbye, baby.
Shoot her. Oh! He did shoot her. Oh my god, that was tough. Oh my days.
Granite 0386. Now go on and call her. Go on, that way.
He's saving him, he's saving him.
So he doesn't get pushed around too much.
What does that look for?
Hello, Keys.
Ah, let's go, son. Dude, Keys versus Walter fight to the death Mortal Kombat style.
So I gather.
How long have you been standing there?
Long enough.
The whole story.
So they can nurse me along till I get back on my feet? So I can walk into that gas chamber up at San Quentin on my own power? Is that it, Keys?
So you just want to bleed to death? Is that your question?
Just watch me.
I mean...
never even make the elevator.
So long, Keys.
Good luck, Walter. Yeah, Keys is right. You didn't even make the elevator, you pump. You punk. A blood-stained cigarette. The music swells. And finally, Keys helps him with the light, as Walter has helped so many times before. And that was my reaction to Double Indemnity. The indemnity is a word that I look at and my brain just has a hard time figuring out how to say it. Indemnity, the 1944 noir crime starring Barbara Stanwyck, Fred MacMurray, Edward G. Robinson, Jean Heather, or Jean, probably Jean, maybe Jean Heather, and Porter Hall. I really liked this movie. I didn't think it was as good as Sunset Boulevard. I think I enjoyed Sunset Boulevard a lot more, but I still think this movie was really good. However, I think I was going into it with like a little bit too high of expectations, if you know what I mean. Like after Sunset Boulevard, everyone was going, oh, Billy Wilder's like an insane director, or watch Double Indemnity and stuff like that. Oh, it's so good. And so I was like, oh, I'm expecting like this insane movie. And I thought this movie was really good. I just don't think it was as insane as Sunset Boulevard, for instance. I think Sunset Boulevard kind of outpaces it in almost every category. But that's not to say that this movie is bad. I think that the camera work in this movie was great. The lighting in this movie was fantastic. I think the thing that I had an issue with was actually just how the story was kind of plotted and paced and stuff like that, just because of how we already know what's going to happen, and then this movie is all like the events leading up to it. Even though there were some very tense moments in this movie, it didn't feel as tense or as intense because we already knew the outcome. You know, so it kind of like takes away some of the tension. And yes, there are some really good tense moments in this, but the overall story, like the overall like, oh, will they do the murder? Will they complete it? This, that, you know, all that stuff. We already knew that they had completed the murder. We already knew that he had framed someone else at some point in the movie before they actually say that he's framed someone else. Walter tells us, the audience, that, or I guess tells Keys, which is basically the audience, that he framed someone else. So we already know all of these facts before they happen in the backstory, and it just kind of alleviated a little bit of the tension in a way that I wish that it hadn't. But I think that's like my biggest issue with this movie. But beside that, I did really enjoy this film. I'm going to talk about the reviews of this movie first, then I'm going to talk about the music, because I thought some of the music was really good, and then I'm going to go into just the lighting, the cinematography, the camera work and stuff like that, and even like the way that the story, even though I didn't like it that much, I still think that they did a good job with it. It just kind of like wasn't my cup of tea in a way. But at the same time, I'm just going to get into that stuff. I don't know where my thoughts are going to lead, if they're going to go a little bit negative, if they're going to try and stay positive. I usually try and stay a little positive in these reviews, so hopefully they stay positive. But now to the scores. 8.3 out of 10 on IMDb and 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. So it seems like audiences really like this movie, and it seems like critics absolutely adore this movie. And I guess Rotten Tomatoes is just 97% of people gave this a positive score. So it's probably around about the same as an audience score. So, I mean, I can understand why people like this movie so much. I did think this was a really good movie, and I think it has some really good elements in it. I just don't like it as much as Sunset Boulevard, and so I think I would have to rate it maybe I don't know if 8.3, I don't know if it's like a worth at 8.3 in my opinion. This may be like a very controversial opinion because I did really like this movie. I think it's probably more of like an 8 out of 10, like a 4 out of 5 stars sort of situation. So yeah, I'm glad that people like it though. I'm glad that people are finding this thing that they really, really enjoy about it, instead of me just like really enjoying. You know, I'm missing that second really. The music of this movie I thought was fantastic. It was very intense, but very subtle in a way. There were not too many like loud instruments. I think my favorite orchestral moments, there were actually two of them. There was the one where Lola and Walter are just like in like whatever, it was like a field or something, or maybe it was like the graveyard or something like that. I don't know. Lola was talking about how she loves Walter, and the music that was playing was very intense, but it wasn't super intense. It was like subtly intense. It was weird. It like gave him an idea in a way. It was like music that was kind of leading the audience to show you what Walter was thinking in that moment, and I thought that was really cool. And then the music at the very end of the movie as well, where Walter is just sitting down, he's slouched, and then Keys lights the match. I thought that was actually such, not even music aside, I thought that was such a good ending to this movie, because throughout the movie Walter is doing all these like kind of insignificant things towards Keys in terms of just lighting his cigar. Like whenever they're in a scene together, Walter is lighting the Keys' cigar with his thumb, and then at the very end of the movie Keys returns the favor. It was just a really sweet ending. It was this ending where like you could tell Keys respects Walter and stuff like that and sees him as a friend, but he also knows that Walter is a kind of a bad person for doing this, and so he's both helping out his friend while condemning his friend at the same time. So I thought it was a very good moment, and the music in that moment, the music swells into the end sign. A lot of old movies have like that huge swell and then the end logo appear, and I really like it. It's so charming, and I thought they did a great job with that in this movie as well. The lighting in this movie I thought was fantastic. The Venetian blinds were even mentioned by name in this movie, and you know, noir films, they are renowned for having their Venetian blinds lighting, and this movie had them in spades in every shot. This movie, it was strange. It was a very dark movie. I was watching it, my room was light outside, you know, because I was watching it in the morning at like about 10 a.m. and sometimes it was even hard to see what was on screen because the movie was so dimly lit. Like it was very naturalistic lighting. You would just have the moonlight coming through the Venetian blinds, and you'd have like just these little slips of light, and that would be the only thing lighting the room, or one lamp in the corner of the room. You know, there was no studio lighting in this movie. It was very natural, but there were times where it felt like it was too dark. You know, I was like, okay, maybe this would work if it was like really dark in my room and I could see, but I'm watching this in like a semi-bright room and I can only see my reflection staring back at myself. So there were definitely moments like that, but I still thought the lighting was very, very beautiful, especially the lighting on Barbara Stanwyck. She was great in this movie, but the lighting on her really added to her performance. It was just like the normal noir kind of soft lighting, like the nice silhouette of light on her and stuff like that, and the soft light on her face, but it's just really charming, and I like to mention it every time I see it in an older movie, an older noir movie and stuff. It's just like when they're like the bottom half and like the torso and stuff of their body is covered in shadow, and then there's like this light that's streaking across their face, like a soft light, and it just kind of glows the scene and it draws your eye towards their face, their acting, and it's just really good lighting. But yeah, I think the Venetian blinds were my favorite part of this movie in terms of the lighting and just the cinematography and stuff like that, because they were really unnerving at times. Like when Phyllis had the gun under her couch and stuff, the only lighting in that whole sequence was basically just from the windows, you know? And so it was just a very good atmospheric choice to have all of this like natural lighting. Even though it was probably studio lights coming through the windows and stuff, it still resembled natural lighting. And so I thought it was a really good way to just kind of immerse the audience in it, because it just looked very real. It looked like they were actually in this dark room and just talking, and that the only light outside was the street lamp outside or the moon coming in through the window and stuff like that. And it also brought a lot of tension because it was so eerie, and mixed with like some of this eerie music as well. It just upped the tension. The camera work as well I thought was simple but very effective. You know, it got the job done, but there were some really, really nice shots as well. The kind of opening shot, I guess, when Walter is kind of stepping out of the the elevator. It's not the opening shot, but I guess like one of the opening shots is when Walter steps out of the elevator and the camera goes past him and it goes over into the insurance firm and everyone's like working and typing and stuff. That was just a really cool shot, like a nice expansive location shot in a way, like this is where we are, you know. It was a very creative way to do that. Also, when all the titles are playing and the man on the crutches is walking towards the camera, that is a really cool shot, which is going to be really fun to watch that shot on a rewatch of this movie. And then I think my favorite shot of the movie was actually when Walter was talking. I think Walter was saying something about how he could not stop thinking about Phyllis and stuff like that, and it looked like he was gonna go into like this daydream flashback sort of thing, because he's talking about how he can't stop thinking about her, how she walked down the stairs and the anklet is like grabbing her ankle or something like that, and I made a joke that he has a foot fetish. I think that was that moment, and she's walking down the stairs and all of a sudden the camera pans out and she's wearing a different outfit, and you realize you're not actually looking at him in the like imagining her in the past, you're actually looking at the future, and they just use the exact same shot composition as they did for that shot in the past. So it makes you think that he's dreaming, and this is what that you've already seen this shot before, and then when it pans out, it's a reveal that, oh, this is actually the future. Oh, he's actually back at Phyllis's house. And it was a really creative and cool way to transition into the next scene. So I thought that was really cool. And I do want to touch on the story, or like the story structure as well, because that is my biggest gripe with this movie, but I also thought they did a good job of it, because when you do a movie where the audience knows exactly what happens and like some other plot points and stuff about what happens before the movie even begins, it's really hard to build up tension. And so I need to applaud the movie, because there were definitely a lot of tense moments in this movie. You know, things like, when are they going to get caught? How are they going to get caught? Are like troubles going to kind of bubble up to the surface that weren't mentioned at the start of the movie and stuff like that? Things like that I thought were done really well, especially when like Phyllis is hiding behind the door and Walter is talking to Keys. That was a really, really intense moment. But I think the movie could have been even more intense if we didn't know what happened at the start of the movie, you know what I mean? So I think there was like a plus minus, because I think you couldn't tell the same story by changing the story structure. You'd have to rechange the story. Obviously it would have the same basic premise, the same plot and stuff, but the actual way the story is told, it's very different if you tell it in like a linear way compared to, okay, this is what happened and let me tell you how it happened, you know? So I kind of wish that this movie was more of like a linear structure, because then it would be really intense. I wouldn't know if they get caught. I wouldn't know about the framing and stuff like that. I wouldn't know that he's talking to Keys and he's like sorry to Keys and stuff like that, and he's convicting himself as a murderer. I wouldn't know any of that, and so it would be even more intense, I think, if the story was structured like that instead of how it is now. But maybe I'm wrong. Please let me know your thoughts on how this story is structured, because I am very interested. So yeah, let's get into the cast. I'm just going to talk about Barbara Stanwyck, Fred MacMurray, and Edward G. Robinson. Edward G. Robinson is Keys' favorite character in the movie. He was so fun. He was just like a nice guy, but he was also like Sherlock Holmes, and it kind of broke my heart when Walter was hearing that thing that Keys was saying about him just being a nice guy, and Keys was like vouching for him and stuff like that there's no way that Walter could murder anyone. It definitely broke my heart a little bit, but at the same time, like, I don't know, Keys was just a brilliant character, and I enjoyed every second of him on the screen. Fred MacMurray as Walter, he was fine in this movie. I didn't attach myself too much to him, but I did, like, he was like pretty complex, and I thought he did a good job of portraying this character that does this horrible thing, and he kind of makes up for it in the end with like convicting himself and stuff like that. But then again, he does want to like escape across the border, so he's not really like, he's not trying to punish himself, I guess. He just needs to get it off of his chest to Keys. But he does a good job, Walter, of trying to make the audience almost not sympathize with him in a way, but I guess maybe sympathize with him, because throughout the movie I kept going like, oh, like, or maybe not even sympathize, just want Walter to win, because you're with this guy, he's like your main character, him and Barbara, but he's mostly the main character. But throughout the movie he's doing like these things, and you're like, I don't like these things. But then when the time comes, like the second half of the movie comes and he's committed the murder, you're like, oh, I hope no one catches him. And then I kept catching myself and going, wait, but I want someone to catch him because he's a murderer. But then I kept going, going, no, 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 hide, hide, oh no, don't do this. So I think the movie and Fred does a really good job. I know him by first name, by the way. And the movie and Fred do a really good job of like making the audience root in a way for this person who has murdered someone. I thought that was a really good idea and a really good job and a very good, like, it was very well executed, is what I'm trying to say. And Barbara Stanwyck as Phyllis, she was really good in this movie as well. I wish she had a little bit more screen time, to be honest with you, because I really enjoyed her character. And I liked at the end where she was like, oh, I was just using you because I predicted it. I was so happy. I was like, yes, what if she's, I made it as a little bit of a joke, but I was like, it would be funny if Barbara was, if Phyllis was, you know, using him and didn't actually love him in the first place. And I was a little bit right. But yeah, she was good in this movie. I liked her chemistry. I guess maybe even her fake chemistry, because she was using him with Fred and stuff like that. And yeah, I thought she did a great job. And that is my reaction and review to Double Indemnity. My brain fried. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to these wonderful, beautiful, amazing people right here for supporting me and supporting my channel. It really does mean a lot. And yeah, I think there are a few more Billy Wilder movies. They're not on my radar at the moment, but if you do have other Billy Wilder movies or just other movie reactions that you would like me to maybe do in the future, just let me know down in the comments. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time for my next movie reaction.